Hey, John Grube on ManTrain.com. I want to tell a couple of flip-flop stories, okay? Because so many people seem to be offended by it because they act like 10-year-old boys and wear them out, in public and things. Maybe they're holding their mommy or daddy's hand still. I don't know. But here's the thing. I listened to this fitness guy. He's been around a long time. And he was telling a story about when he was coming back from vacation on the plane with his wife and kids. And he was brought aware that there was a passenger who was acting up and had to be controlled. So he said he looked to another guy and they nodded, in case something goes down. The flight attendants had to first be able to deal with it and go to try to calm this man down. If they couldn't do it, then other people could help. So what happened, they couldn't control him, so they nodded for these two guys to come. And the one guy was talking about how for the last 6 months he was taking jiu-jitsu. So what he did is the guy came and got aggressive with him. He snuck behind him with a chokehold. Then he said, I couldn't get any footing because I was wearing my flip-flops. Okay? There's a guy right there in a situation on a plane, not thinking anything's going to happen, coming back from vacation, and boom, he's restraining a passenger who could potentially be a danger to a lot of fucking people. But he complained about wearing flip-flops. There was another story a guy was telling me. He was at Disney with his family, and he's an ex-cop, whatever he was, and he was looking around, and he just couldn't help but notice how men today are just not prepared. Okay, he looks around and can look at all these different men and just notice. And one of the comments he made was the flip-flops, the footwear that men wear. I can't agree any fucking more. I know it hurt your feelings. I don't care. I'm telling you right now, you look like a bitch. Wear them, continue, do whatever you want. It's you. But I guarantee if you got a wife or a girlfriend, she really doesn't respect you. Okay? Now I want to go another story about people another one that hurts people's feelings is the bench press. When I was in high school, 300-pound bench press was the mark for a high school kid. High school. Not a grown man, okay? Now, men who never train until they get out of high school, I guess 300 pounds is a mark for them. But remember, I went to school in the 80s. Men were stronger, by far, okay? And when I was in high school, my best bench press as a senior at 145, 150 pounds was 330 pounds, okay? A very good bench press. When I was in school, there were a couple other guys that were benching 400 pounds. This is in high school, all right? These were at the time, nobody was taking the steroids at that time in high school. So we had the 1,000-pound club. So it means high school kids were trying to get to the 1,000 pounds, squat, deadlift, and bench. All right, if you got on that, you got posted on the wall. All right, probably not something they do much today. Now, I can tell you this, that all the years I bench pressed, okay, and even to my mid-20s when I stopped doing it, benching 400 pounds, whatever, didn't really have much of a crossover into blue-collar work or anything that I ever done. And if you think about it, the first bench press was probably not invented until George Hackenschmidt, and he did it in a rollover, a pullover, when he was in a bridge and benched it off his chest that way. Okay? It's really not effective. In football, they think it is, but the strongest football players aren't always the best football players, believe it or not, on the line. Some of them are, but anyhow, that's a goal for you. That's great. One of the things men asked you, hey man, how much you bench? It's kind of a bullshit question, okay? But at the time, when you bench 400 pounds, you can be pretty proud of 400 pounds, Again, doesn't help. And if you really think about it, having a big heaving chest is kind of like female. It's kind of like you got tits, right? Just, you're a man. You got tits, Kind of like not that, and that was never something I was going for. It wasn't a bodybuilding type, it wasn't that. I just wanted to be strong. And a lot of people out there just don't see it. Anyhow, let me tell you a story about 3 policemen I know that I knew bench pressed 500 pounds. And of course, they took steroids. One of them, not too long ago, now I don't know if he died from the steroids or whatever, he was in his 40s, he died. Sad as it is. All right, another guy I know was a cop, got into a wrestling match in a jail cell with a drunk. He went to the ground, couldn't hold himself upright. When he fell, fucked his elbow up, shattered it, had surgeries up and down, eventually had to retire. And this was almost 20 years ago. Okay? Then I know another one who was an actual bench press, who bench pressed 500 pounds. Him and another cop were hanging out at his house. And there was another dude there, about 160 pounds. Not a weightlifter, just a fucking derelict type dude who was known around the neighborhood. Well, him and that one cop got in some kind of altercation and one at bench press 500 pounds. And they went outside and that 160 pounder kicked the shit out of him. Okay? Just kicked the shit out of him. Was putting the boots to his fucking face. Had fucking cowboy boots on. He was putting boots to his face. Okay? It's a story I'm hearing. It was a while back. But you seen that cop, his face was pretty fucked up on the street, you know. So, hey, I'm just telling you. If your identity is all about the bench press, great. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's not a lot of crossover in the real world. Don't get upset by it. Just fucking listen to what I'm saying and maybe investigate a little bit, because you'll find out, you know, the guys with the biggest bench press aren't usually the toughest guys. And, you know, me growing up, toughness was a thing. You know, you had to be able to handle yourself. It's just the way it was. And stronger guys would do real well. But there was times when there was guys who couldn't fucking handle themselves, who would beat the fucking snot out of these fucking guys. So, you know, believe what you want to believe. You know, I seem to hurt a lot of people's feelings. But again, I'm a 54, going to be 55-year-old man who has been training since he's been 12. It's blue collar work, been in an environment with nothing but men, been able to hold my fucking own, and then some. Always was respected, still respected. And you can believe what you want. You know, like I said, man, it's not hard to find who I was, or, you know, find out who knows me and just can ask that question. But again, I upset people. That's just what I think. You know, I think men today are just fucking way off on what it takes to fucking be masculine, and men should be tough, they should be strong. But, you know, one fucking rep strength, great if you're competing. If not, you know, you can do what you want. Like I said, somewhere down the road, you might have to change later.